and welcome. I'm Millicent Walker. Tonight, governors of Southeast states resolved to engage federal government on the continued detention of self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Kogi State High Court sentences convicted ritualist to death by hanging for the murder of two brothers over a year ago. And deadly Lassa fever rears its head in Kogi State again, one case recorded. And over 1,000 soldiers and police in Colombia conduct rescue operations after landslide kills more than 200 people in Putumayo province. We begin tonight from the southeast, where the continuous detention of the self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has been on the front burner of discussions among the governors of the 5 states in the region. The governors, who met for the second time this year at the Government House in Enugu, announced their resolve to engage relevant authorities at the federal level to address the issue. Ebonyi State Governor and Chairman of the Forum, David Umahi, told journalists that other issues discussed include ecological problems as well as economic integration of the region.
The issue of IPOB, Maso, Kanu's detention, ecological problems of Southeast, various water dams that have been abandoned in Southeast, our challenges of power, our challenges of security, and other very many concerns of our people. The Southeast governors today agreed to immediately meet with the various and appropriate authorities of federal presence to address these problems. We are very committed to this, and action is already started on these issues. Southeast governors also agreed to meet with all stakeholders of Southeast to discuss and address all issues that are of interest to our people.
Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi speaking there. Well, 2 judiciary matters where a Kogi High Court sitting in Cotton Coffee has sentenced Ibrahim Mohammed to death by hanging after about a year of the killing of 2 siblings. The High Court judge says the accused committed the crime and evidence have shown that he killed the 2 brothers, Mohammed Kudu Abubakar and Umar Tanko Abubakar, and buried them in a shallow grave in his compound.
January 2016, a bizarre incident where 2 siblings were buried in this shallow grave. According to police report, 2 brothers, Mohammed Kudu Abubakar and Umar Tanko Abubakar, were killed by Ibrahim Mohammed of the Kumbani village in Kogi local government area of Kogi State. He first poisoned their food, and to hasten their death, he used a pistol to hit them to death. Now, to make matters worse, he buried them in the shallow grave right inside his compound. But the court in Kogi State has served justice after a prolonged trial of about a year. The judge, Justice Alaba Ajileyi, ruled that Ibrahim Mohammed is to die by hanging.
This shows that justice, no matter how long it takes, it will definitely come. I feel for the family losing 2 young men. But today, as you have seen, they call the 6 the last hope of the common man. Justice has been given. The boys may not come back, but at least it will be respite to the family. So I think I must commend the court. So, and this will serve as a warning signal to other people. Human life, we don't give life. It's God that gives life. So don't take life so lightly.
Of course, the judgment manifests what the law is. And as lawyers, we abide by judgment of court. And as it is, we take it as representing the position of the law on the matter.
Though the accused pleaded not guilty to the charges, the presiding judge, Justice Alaba, held that the act of poisoning the two brothers was criminal and cannot be brushed aside. He then commended the Special Anti-Squad of the Nigeria Police, Kogi State, for carrying out a good investigation and exposing the accused persons.
Delay in justice delivery is a challenge that has bedeviled Nigeria's judicial system, and experts have suggested various reasons for the situation, one of which is high-profile cases before the court. The Administration of Criminal Justice Act has, however, said to be the solution. Meanwhile, since it's coming on board, questions have been asked as to whether it has achieved its aim or contributed to the menace. In our next report, our correspondent, Amaka Okafor, attempts to find answers to the deep-rooted issues.
Prosecution of politically exposed persons has been a part and parcel of the Nigerian judicial system. In recent times, there has been an increase in the number of these cases as a result of the current anti-corruption and anti-terrorism drive of the federal government. A typical day in a Nigerian courtroom, especially in Lagos and Abuja, has a long list of corruption cases against politically exposed persons and other criminal cases. In many of the courts, high-profile cases are given preference.
Cases dealing with corruption cases, economic crimes, terrorism, and some other cases, they are not classified as high-profile cases. So they have to be given special attention than trespass, assaults, motor traffic matter, and all those ones because of their peculiar nature. But you find that the other cases do suffer because of these high-profile cases.
The accused persons having access to the best lawyers in the country usually take over the court at the expense of the other cases.
You find that when the cases are called up, one of the governor, one of the senator has about 5 senior advocates, plus other lawyers. And because these cases are high profile, their lawyers are going to put pressure on the court system, on the judicial system, on the registries. They're going to get dates for their matters first, because these are high net worth lawyers. These are lawyers with reach. These are lawyers with clout. And those clouds are going to come to bear. And when that happens, and their cases take precedence, other matters will naturally suffer.
Some lawyers blame it on the cosmetic treatment given to justice sector reform in the country.
Majority of Nigerians who come into conflict with the law are processed at the magistrate lower court level, whether magistrate courts or area court level. So the impact, of that population when it comes to either the federal high court, is not, you can't feel it.
While some judicial acts are being reviewed, the same cannot be said of the Nigerian Prisons Act, which was last reviewed in 1972, and the Nigerian Police Act, which was last amended in 1968. Both laws have been some of the longest before the National Assembly since the return of democracy.
All the three arms of government must sit down and agree on a plan. Without a plan, we will continue to respond in this ad hoc manner that will, in the long run, be of no use to anybody.
But some stakeholders point to some progress in the Administration of Criminal Justice Act as a way forward.
In fact, all over other jurisdictions, plea bargain is not illegal. It is part of the administration of justice. That money, that 1 billion that the man said, well, I'm sorry, this is the money. And it's all right. You plead, we give you a letter sentence, go and serve 6 months. To me, I don't think it's out of order.
While everyone cannot agree on the various reasons for the delay in justice delivery, they however agree on one point. Government needs to pay an urgent attention to the justice sector reform initiative, especially in the face of increasing security challenges. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Residents of Obiosere community in Odukpani local government area of Cross River State are appealing to the federal government to beef up security in their area. This is following a recent attack on the community by herdsmen. According to the community, the war that ensued recorded 1 death with several persons still missing, including children. Our correspondent who visited the area reports that the people are living in fear of another invasion.
Obio-Usere community is one of the hard-to-reach communities located in the Dupani local government area of Cross River State and can only be accessed through waters from Calabar, the capital. It's a small community where its members are predominantly farmers and fishermen and have carved a niche for themselves through this profession. Monday the 28th of March will remain in their memories, though for a sad incident following the said invasion of their village by suspected herdsmen, hurting some dwellers and the destruction of their crop by cattle. The attacks were reportedly triggered when the villagers complained about cattle destroying their crops, which led to sporadic shooting. While some fleeing members were lucky to have left the community unhurt, others were not so lucky. This woman, Ekpeyong Ethim, is a mother of 5. Her husband and 3 children are yet to be found following the attacks. She has been hiding in the bush since the incident and hoping that she finds her family and reunite with them soon.
I not see my children because of Ogusa don't give my picking. You don't give my children. With my husband, I don't see. I don't get my husband. I don't see my husband. God help me.
It is very difficult for me to move out. My children are not here with me, but I had to trek to Ikorodia under the rain. How can that be? That nonsense must stop.
More than even 100. But this time, those people are very wicked. Nobody going to farm. They destroy our farm. Nobody going to fishing. When you talk to them, they will machete you. They will tell you not to go anywhere. We just keep silence.
For Etetim Ikpat, he has just buried his brother after suffering machete wounds following his confrontation with the herdsmen to leave his farm.
People here was telling them to leave the village because of the destroying of our farm. Then they started fighting and killed my brother. They matched him. Even the film is there when they match it. The point that they matched him is still there.
Relative but frightful peace is returned, but some are still considering relocating. Evidence of the sad tale are visible on the victims, and nothing other than a full weight of the law on perpetrators will suffice. The village head, Obong Ekpo, wants security beefed up as he suspects a relaunch of attacks by the herdsmen who might be hiding around and strategizing.
What I'm going to tell you now, this community is on SOS. SOS. We are living in fear and hunger. Like myself here, it is today I can even tell you where I belong to. Some days ago I was hiding in the bush.
The state government condemns the act and promised to send down relief materials and medicals to the community.
Before this time, there were cattle rearers. But this recent trend, we don't understand. Our parents had lived with cattle rearers and lived in peace, not understand. And government should legislate on it. If you're a cattle rearer that wants to carry arms, stay in your place.
Obio-Usere is just one out of the many other communities where herdsmen and their cattle reside for grazing in Cross River State. It's over to the instrumentality of government to wade in and reassure victim residents of safety if any of the numerous attacks recorded recently are anything to go by.
Well, let's go over to north-central Nigeria, where Kogi State has joined the list of states that have recorded the deadly Lassa fever. The State Commissioner for Health, who confirmed this to Channels Television, says the affected patient was diagnosed after returning from a trip outside the state.
Our people are currently monitoring all those who have had contacts with these patients.
Okay.
But one thing is very peculiar here. The patient earlier traveled to Niger State from where he made another journey to Ilorin before returning back to Kogi State. It was 1 week after he returned to Lokoja that the first symptoms commenced. So we are not actually very sure which of the 3 states this disease emanated from.
In part two, after the break, leadership of the ruling All Progressives Congress weighs into face-off between Senate and Executive, schedules meeting with Senate caucus for Tuesday. Stay with us.